Oh, yeah. Silence your phones.
Hi everyone, welcome to Watu. This is a bi-weekly production where we discuss social justice, religion, humanity and culture. Watu is a Swahili proverb that means a person is people. The proverb was used in Africa to remind people the importance of teamwork, because individually we're weak, but together we're strong. Welcome. Hello.
Hello. Bonjour.
Welcome to another episode for 2022.
Yes.
January the 16th.
On the road
Did I
to
get it right?
100. Yep.
It's the 16th. Yes,
it?
the 16th.
Okay.
All right, awesome. So we have another special topic to bring to you guys. Like we said, we want to be more proactive this year than we did last year. We want to be more engaged. We want to bring more information and teaching and topics to you guys. And we urge you guys to challenge us, ask questions, email us, leave a message or your comments on social media. Whatever you can find us, just say something about what we're talking about. We appreciate that a lot. And it helps us gauge what we're doing and if what we're saying or what we're talking about is helping somebody out there. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So today we want to talk about something that can be a little controversial.
As we've heard.
And but it's something that a lot of us deal with. It's something we struggle with. Some of us, they don't even know what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to talk about something. We want to talk about happiness. So before we can begin, we probably give some definition of what happiness is. So what is happiness? If somebody can try to give us their definition of what they found online or during their research.
Well, Google failed us.
Yeah.
And,
yeah,
Google said the state of being happy.
Yeah, that's
so,
a little...
Then you have to dig. And I looked at happy and it said a feeling or showing pleasure or contentment.
The feeling of showing pleasure and contentment.
Or contentment.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I found one that said the experience of joy, contentment, or positive well-being combined with a sense that one's life is good, meaningful, and worthwhile.
I like that one. That's very nice.
Yeah.
No, so said happiness is an emotional state characterized by feelings of joy, satisfaction, contentment, and fulfillment.
That's cool.
No.
That's cool.
That leads us to the next question.
Yeah,
My definition of happiness, I thought, was a feeling of peace, calmness, and contentment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought happiness is. And also I thought happiness is something you work on internal. It's not something we chase after outside ourselves. That's what I thought happiness was. Anybody else?
I also found it's a state where it's linked to experiencing more positive feelings than negative ones.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Kind of like a scale.
That's what it sounds like.
And I also thought that happiness is not. People need to understand happiness is not some euphoria thing that, that we are constantly seeking. It's not like some euphoria feeling. Yeah. It's not a state of euphoria.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So the second question is happiness just an emotion or a feeling? I know we had a discussion earlier about that.
Yeah, because Google says they're synonyms, which means they mean the same thing.
Yeah.
But I did find one thing that said emotions are associated with bodily reactions that are activated through neurotransmitters and hormones released by the brain, where feelings are the conscious experience of those emotional reactions. So like when you have like a gut reaction to something, like your stomach is upset about something, that would be the emotion, like the reaction by your body. And then the feeling is recognizing why you're feeling that, why that reaction is happening.
Yeah.
So they coexist. It's the same thing.
They're related.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think they're related, but they're not the same thing. Because you could be related to somebody, but you're not the same person. You don't think the same. You don't do anything the same. We are related, but we're all different people, right?
Okay, we don't want to say that you're right, Uncle.
Yeah.
But Google says it's related.
Google might be wrong.
Google says it's related. That it's not the same thing. So because as we've heard, Amanda said, so it's the emotion is the body's reaction to what you're feeling, but then feeling is actually recognizing it. So it's conscious recognition of what you're experiencing.
They piggyback on each other,
Related.
but not the same thing.
They're related.
So then it goes back to the question, is happiness an emotion or a feeling?
Yeah.
So is it a bodily reaction to something, or is it a recognition of a bodily reaction?
I think it's both.
It's both, actually, because now that I'm thinking about it, when you're happy, like your heart beats a little bit faster, you know,
you get the
adrenaline, all those hormones, serotonin, all those are just hitting you and you feel good.
So those happens because of neurotransmitters, right?
So you get that emotion, and then when you recognize it, then you're like, oh, my goodness, feeling. I'm so happy. Then you feel.
Yes. So that's the feeling.
Yeah.
It's both.
So it's both.
Yeah.
All right. So do you think like when most people think of happiness, they're thinking about the emotion part of it, or they're thinking about the feeling that they get from it?
Since the feeling is the conscious piece, I think that's what we think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I believe there's like that chemical piece of it. Like there's been research done on like the dopamine release of happiness. So when you're feeling happiness, there's like a dopamine release in your body. And that is very similar to like sugar highs or even drug highs, as far as how your brain lights up and those type of things.
Yeah.
And then when you have so much dopamine running through your system constantly, your body actually downregulates it because you can't have that much dopamine. You'll die. And so your body starts downregulating. And so like drug addicts, they get that next high, not to feel amazing. They're feeling it to trying to get it to normal because their body's downregulated so much.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when you're constantly chasing this like happiness hit, you're getting the same thing where your body starts like down regulating in order to help you survive, but then you like need it more.
So then are we focused more on the emotion part because that is the body's reaction to happiness instead of the feeling? Because sometimes I think like what you're saying with drug addicts, I don't think they truly feel like, oh, I'm getting this high and I'm happy.
Right.
I don't think they're recognizing it, but they're recognizing the hormones that are being pushed at them. So I feel like it's the emotion part that we're
but do you, how do you distinguish that? Because sometimes it could be, because the fear, it's pretty close to that. Like when you're afraid of something, you're gonna feel those similar reactions. So how do you recognize that? How do you like know that this is a feeling that I'm looking for? I mean, the emotion that I'm looking for instead of the feeling that I'm looking for.
Well, with fear, I think you could differentiate fear and happiness.
It's easy to differentiate it. Like, cause if you're chasing happiness, you'll feel more positive about whatever it is that you're doing, and whatever it is, or however like the day is on that day. But like if it's fear, you're scared and you won't feel happy. I mean, I would presume.
Yeah. So I mean, it all goes back to like the definition. You are going to show you have pleasure, you're content, you're satisfied, you feel joy. So I think they all kind of like go together.
So what I just thought about something. So when most people talk about happiness, are they talking about how they feel at the present moment, or they might be referring to the more general sense of how they feel about life in general?
I think it's present moment. Because I feel like in this day and age, we're so focused on like seeing, you know, the positive. Like when you accomplish something, you work really hard to accomplish something so that you could feel that happiness. I think we are instant joy, instant happiness type of people. So we don't always recognize the other positive things that are going on in our lives.
You're just like stuck on the negatives.
Yeah, because we talked about before. I don't know when, but when we look at people that don't necessarily have what we have, are in worse situations than we are, we should be content and we should be satisfied sometimes, but we're not, because we're always looking for that next hit, like drug addicts.
So we want to. So happiness is just a hit. It's just some stuff
it's like a present moment type of thing
that happens. It's a present.
Yeah. I feel like it can be a present moment type of thing, but then it can also be something you just kind of recognize. You know, because I feel like sometimes you could be in a really bad situation, but you feel happy. You recognize that you're happy, because happiness also means showing pleasure or contentment. So when you're content, I feel like you feel happy
when you're content. Yeah,
because you can not necessarily be in a good situation, but because there are those people that are unusually happy, but they're like homeless, but they're happy.
Yeah.
So you could be in a bad situation, but still, feel happiness. I feel like that's the more general. You're just happy with life.
So it's I guess what you're trying to say. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a moment.
No, I don't think it necessarily has to be a moment.
It could be something that grudge or that goes on with you as through life, right? Happiness.
Yeah, I think so.
So with the. I'm kind of going into your next question of, is happiness a choice or not? But so you said, is happiness an emotion or a feeling? And we've kind of looked at that.
Yeah.
But I saw a quote, happiness is a way of feeling, not a way of thinking. And I think the contentment thing is more of a choice around thinking. And so when you go into, is happiness a choice? A choice is a feeling. That's just the conscious, we said that was the conscious experience of what's happening in our body, emotional reactions. And so I think if we change our thinking, we can almost bring about those feelings of happiness. But I don't think we can choose the feelings of happiness, because those are like byproducts of an emotion.
I understand.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow.
So the question, like you just brought it up, like that is happiness a choice or not? Do we choose it?
I feel like it can be.
What you just said makes sense. But I want to hear what you guys think.
I think it can be then. Based on what Amanda just said, if you can choose to think a certain way and change your mindset about life in general, then you can choose to sort of, think that, content and satisfied with life, that you can bring about those feelings of happiness. Does that make sense? I feel like it can.
Yeah. So you can almost create the emotional reaction, which then makes you conscious of the...
But the problem is, like, your mind is always like your brain is always kind of lead you to think negative.
Yeah, sure.
For every situation.
I mean, it comes back to choosing. I mean, it comes back to choosing, because do you choose to be negative about life, or do you choose to be positive about life? If you're more negative about life, then you're not really going to find that happiness in whatever circumstances that you're in. So, but if you choose positivity, then you'll be more happy and more, like you said, content with whatever situation that you're in.
Yeah, I think it's all about choice, because when I think about it, your brain can sometimes lie to you. So if you can recognize those feelings, those negative feelings, I think you can, as anyone can, turn it around. You can turn around any situation into something positive. So I think it's like a learning experience type of thing. You have to really learn and teach yourself.
Yeah. I was telling Amanda this morning, like, I feel like it's a choice, because you have to choose that the reality is there's always going to be the happy moments and there's going to be unhappy moments. And that's the balance of life. And you could choose to stay on this 50% of happiness and try to avoid as much of this.
And it's hard. It's really hard to choose. Oh my God, it really is. Because when the negative really weighs more of the positive, you want to stay on the negative side. But you know the right choice is to actually try to think more positive about the situation. Yeah. So it's really hard to be happy sometimes because the negative outweighs the positive.
Yeah. And I feel like your brain just like never really cares about your happiness.
No,
it really does not care.
Your brain is about trying to keep you alive.
Yeah.
So like if you can
that
keep
you're
you in a
happy survivor.
Yeah.
Like the brain doesn't care that you're a happy survivor. It just cares that you're alive. Like, and so you have that choice to say, yes, I know you don't care about my survival, be a happy survivor, but I want to be a happy survivor, and you can choose that.
So you can choose your thoughts, but you can't choose your feelings.
Yeah.
But you can trick your thoughts. Yeah. You can trick your brain with your thoughts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like once we understand what our brain wants to do, we can use that for us instead of against us.
Yeah.
Like, that whole method how like you can't tickle yourself, but somebody else can tickle you. But they say that you can trick your brain like with an object, and like that object acts as if somebody's tickling you, but you're actually tickling yourself. So there's a way to train your brain to think in a way that you want it to think.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
I found a quote from a psychologist. He said, "The greatest discovery of any generation is that a human can alter his life by altering his attitude."
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about the mindset.
Yeah. Your attitude. All right. That makes sense. So how do you recognize happiness? Like, we talk about all these feelings and but like I said, like sometimes your brain will lie. You might think you're happy, but you're not happy because that's what the brain is telling you. So how do you really recognize that I'm really happy right now?
Well, I saw some stuff. It was saying, Google was saying that you're thinking more positive, more rather than negative. You're feeling more satisfied with your life, living the life that you wanted, feeling accomplished in your life. So those kind of specific things.
You reckon that helps you recognize you're happy? Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense.
But I also think like if you before with our last question, that you do have a choice, and that if you recognize your thought and your mindset, and you change your mindset and you change your attitude on life, I feel like that would make you that would create those emotion, that body reaction that happens, which then will cause you to recognize your feelings because of what you're now experiencing. Things just kind of you even if it's negative, you kind of see things as more in a positive light, even though it's negative. And I think you would recognize that.
So would you say that in general, people are just like after the excitement, like that feeling, not really the happiness part of it? Like you go to a movie and the movie was so fun, you laughed and stuff like, and that excitement, and people tend to associate that as happiness. Would you say that's what people are really after?
I think we're after something longer lasting.
But we appreciate those little highs.
But do we confuse us as to what happiness is?
I don't think we confuse it per se. I think we're not at that long lasting level.
Yeah.
I think we are heading there, but we still, like I said, in the society looking for that instant gratification.
Yeah.
So when we get those little instant gratification, we think like, oh my goodness, we're so happy. But then immediately once another negative thing happens, we're back down to where we were.
Maybe so deeper than we were.
Maybe deeper than we were. So then we have to get that other, that next instant. We haven't really changed our attitude and our mindset to think that we can, be content or happy all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not long lasting.
So I think that recognizing happiness, you have to be present in the moment. So like because if feeling is awareness, then you have to stop for a second And, I saw a quote of, we are so busy watching out for what's just ahead of us that we don't take the time to enjoy where we are. And it's really that contentment of, stop striving for happiness and realize you already have it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's just there, right?
Yeah. And I think that's what we struggle with.
I feel like people are just like looking for the seconds, something to stimulate them. That one is what was up. You try to find, and that's what people think is happiness.
Like the hit.
Yeah, This one makes me so excited. If it's gone, then you're not happy no more.
Exactly.
Like the people who jump out of planes. Looking for the next high.
Yeah. But like I was saying a few moments ago, like I feel like happiness is just feeling more positive than negative. Like it's like the balance like that. So if you allow negativity, you're gonna be down here, and the negative thoughts are gonna be right here.
It's like the scale.
Yeah, it's like a scale. So you just have to be think more positive about life than negative.
Then can we differentiate real happiness and that instant gratification?
Yeah. But I think that's the struggle with a lot of people. They don't know what that is.
Exactly.
Yeah. They just think that those instant gratifications are happiness.
Like that contentment piece.
Yeah. I just got excited for a moment or for a couple of hours. That's so happy.
When I was reading too about there was a study where they asked people, like, if we could hook you up to a machine and you could, like, we could trick your brain, like virtual reality, into achieving everything you've ever wanted to achieve and feel that emotion, would you want to? And 81% actually declined.
Yeah, I would decline too.
Because it's actually about the process of getting there and not the actual
just
achievement.
Yeah.
Because the achievement, I think deep down we know that achievement is the high, like the momentary high, but it's the process of who we become that actually creates like that long-lasting happiness.
Yeah.
But then I think they would, if I were asked that question, I would think like, well, then that would be fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
then
fake.
my brain will revert back to where
And
it
then
was,
what,
and
right?
then what? I didn't
unplug
really
me?
achieve that. So now I'm just back to
reality.
Yeah.
You're back to reality. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So where do you find happiness? But people probably ask that, right? There's all many like ways that people have things that people have said you find happiness, but win a lotto. So where do you find this happiness? Where is it hiding at? Why do we keep chasing it?
Okay, got another quote for you then.
Yeah.
I'm a quote person today. So a lot of people get so hung up on what they can't have that they don't think for a second about whether they really want it.
Yeah.
So like with the lotto, right? People are always, I'm one of them. Like, if only I could win the lotto, and then you don't play. So it's kind of hard to win then. But yeah.
Nice.
But like, do you really want it? Like, yeah, you think about like, if I had millions of dollars, what would I do? But like, do you want all the other stuff that comes with that?
Exactly. Oh,
what
my
other
gosh.
stuff?
Stress.
Like managing that money.
And then having people come into your life that don't really want to be in your life.
All those family members.
All those people calling you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they publicly post it.
How will you choose to be anonymous? Then all of a sudden they're like,
to be anonymous.
"Okay, why do you have such a big house?
Is it your business?"
all those uncles that are like, "Oh, you're getting married." Well, it'd be like 10 million.
I know. Then they'll be calling you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting
I gotta
married?
get my share.
Available.
I need
You
my
know
share.
that I really loved you. Need to put that son away. That I took care of you.
Yes.
Where?
What's your name? How are you related to me? Yeah.
Exactly. I don't remember you being around.
Yeah. So I think just chasing after stimulations don't really get us to the happiness.
No.
And that's not where happiness is, For me, I feel like the quality of relationships, like having like a really quality relationship with other people makes me happy. Like being, like, it doesn't matter where if it's at work, at home, if I have like really good connection with people, no matter where I'm at, I feel more happier that way. And that's what I feel the happiness instead of all those like little moments that happens in life.
But I think you have to be aware of that, right? Like,
yeah, and I'm always aware of it.
Yeah.
Like when you don't get along with people at your work, you feel miserable.
Yeah.
Right?
I also feel like when you say where do you find your happiness, I feel like it comes up with also like living your life with purpose.
Yeah.
If you know your purpose in life, like doing the things that you always wanted to do and not the things that you really thought that you did want to do, but it actually doesn't bring you any type of joy or happiness. So like living your life with purpose also plays a part of like having that long lasting happiness.
Yeah,
That's true. But I also feel like it's like we were saying before, like it's choice and changing your mindset on the things that are going on in your life.
Yeah.
So I think you can find it anywhere and in anything if you change your mindset.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's everywhere.
yeah,
You just need to look and live in
You
the
already
present
have it.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You already have it. You just need to see it.
yeah. Like I was saying, like for me, those relationships, like I can be vulnerable with somebody and tell them what's going on in my life, and they can come and tell me, be like 100% vulnerable to me and tell them what's going on. Like I feel happier that way. I feel like I'm actually doing something. Like for me, it's like happiness is like being able to do something. Not just like guessing things every single day. You're not unsure of what you're supposed to be doing. But when I feel like I can talk to people and be honest with them and be vulnerable with them, that brings me happiness and joy.
But even if that doesn't happen,
Even
do
if
you
it doesn't
feel-
happen, I just feel, I feel that I'm happy here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the fulfillment piece of our definition.
Yeah.
Like, and then, so Christina's talking about the contentment. You're talking about fulfillment.
Yeah.
And then there's like the satisfaction and joy. And then what was the other one?
pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meaningful, worthwhile. Some of those words. I think
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about.
And I think we also have to recognize that happiness is just being unhappy with what's around you. Be happy with all the unhappiness around you.
There we go.
The
good and the bad.
Yeah.
Unhappiness, yeah.
Be happy with all the unhappiness around you.
Because unhappiness happens.
It's not gonna go away. It's always gonna be there. Yeah.
One of my
contentment.
one of my favorite quotes is Zig Ziglar, and though he's passed, it still lives with me. It's living life by life's terms.
Yeah.
Like stop, pain is inevitable.
Yeah.
Can't avoid it.
Yeah. It's not something to be like glorified either. I think some people take it to that extreme. But,
True.
but accepting like, this is how it is. It's not like, oh, I wish it was different. Like, well, no, it's like this, but there's still good here.
In it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just find happiness in whatever is happening.
Like the sun came up and I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Exactly. I took a
And
breath
I'm
this
happy I'm
morning.
alive.
Yeah, exactly.
I woke up. I have legs.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
God.
Yes.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I have legs.
So what steps
There's
do
some
you
people that don't have legs. Some people cannot hear.
Yeah.
You know what really helps me to like fully understand like being grateful? I was working at the hospital one time, and I don't know, this I see a lot of people like this, but this one really like it got to me, where this woman she could not hear and she could not talk.
Yeah.
And also she was in like a state in which, she was like very vulnerable. She was in the hospital, she wasn't feeling too good. Things weren't going too well. And she could not understand. So it's like that feeling of not being able to understand what's going on. It hurt. I was like, how do you communicate with her? How does she communicate to the world what she wants? Because she can't. Yeah, but you can't like keep writing up all the feelings. She can't. And sometimes she would just shorten things because she can't say everything. She can't express herself, and that really that was like
You need an interpreter, yeah.
Yeah.
And she couldn't even have an interpreter. She had to write everything because she can't hear and she can't talk.
Sign. She can't sign. She couldn't sign. I'm just asking.
No, she couldn't sign.
Oh,
wow. We had to. There was a whiteboard in the room that you had to write everything on, and to just be in that state where you're vulnerable and you also need care, but you don't because you have the right to choose what is done to you. And like, if you can't fully understand or get it fully interpreted to you, what's going on.
Yeah, that's how.
I was like, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some steps that you can take to find happiness?
So finding, I think, is more
The gratitude seeking thing.
yeah, like you can't find it. I think you have to be aware of it because it's already there.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
Changing your mindset.
Because you're not searching for it. It's not like this inanimate object like somewhere. It's like when those Pokemon games or whatever, people walking around with their phones, like trying to like.
Oh my god, that era was so stupid. Yeah. I'm sorry to anybody that actually.
I'm not sorry,
but it's not like this invisible thing that you can only find with like a cell phone. Walking around.
Pokemon.
Yes, the Pokemon.
They were everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, people were getting hurt because of that.
And they were talking about it at the hospital too. I was like, "What is this?"
Like, where? It's like I'm looking for. I'm like, you guys.
But that's how we treat happiness, right?
We are
like,
at work.
We think it's like somewhere and it's invisible, and we just gotta like step over it like a video game.
Find it.
Have to do something to get there. That's those instant gratification. Then you're just looking for that next. Oh, I have to work hard in school so I can accomplish this degree. That's just instant gratification. You're trying to fulfill your life, but you're also missing out on all the other things that are happening around you that can bring you that feeling of happiness.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we need to invest more on our well-being than following what society says that we need to do to find happiness.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right? Because society will tell you, like, get a good job, find a job that pays more, work hard,
find a good husband for you, get a good house.
Yeah. And those will bring you happiness. But then you forget about the fundamental things that about yourself. That like what do I do for me to find the happiness that I want?
And I think practicing gratitude and contentment. You practice those two things, it changes your mindset.
It does. I've seen it. Yep.
Yeah. So how about what the society says? Like, can money really bring you happiness?
No,
you
like,
cannot forget about
it.
Forget about it.
Money brings happiness. That's
whether you win that lotto or not, forget about it.
It really doesn't. Like, look at all these celebrities who have all this money and then they fall into
depression,
crazy addictions and stuff like that. Some of them become suicidal and they kill themselves. Money really does not buy you happiness. It doesn't.
I feel like at some point it just gives you more options and what you can do with life, because if you go on the wrong path, you now have money to continue on that wrong path. You can now get the crack that you want, you can get whatever you want. I feel like it just creates more of a
I've heard that money just multiplies who you already are.
Exactly. So now it shows your true colors.
But there was a study done by Princeton, and there's been studies since that have kind of refuted a little bit of it. But the Princeton researchers had people measure their happiness on a long term, like daily, but for a long period of time, over their income. So and so they matched it with their income, and there's a lot more to it. But they found in 2010, back then, that people's happiness did actually increase the more money they made. Because it was less stressful to provide for the basics of necessities. And then at that point in 2010, 75,000 is where they found it kind of leveled off. People who started making more than that, they didn't really experience more happiness in day-to-day life, because at that point that must have been the figure that your necessities were met. And so at that point, then you can start creating more stressors, or you could not. And they started to kind of see a different, a separation there of some people were happy, some people weren't. But there really is having your day-to-day necessities taken care of. I think money does help that, because it relieves stress and helps your mindset. But also just because you're making $20,000 a year doesn't mean you're not happy.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like human beings are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
So yes, you're gonna get that money when you get to that level that you have everything you get.
And you increase your expenses.
Exactly.
Then it becomes normal. Right. Then you want another level of that, And then if you're not getting to that level, you get stressed out and get all this depression stuff, because things have changed so much, and now I need another change.
Yeah.
But what kind of change do you need now? We have all this money that you wanted.
Right. And this culture will tell you how to spend your money if you don't already decide. Mm-hmm. So when you get those income increases, you keep your expenses where they're at, and then you can experience more of that gratitude.
But I think the other path, like what the study said, some it kind of leveled off, and some were, either find other stressors or do other things. I feel like maybe if you do have that money, and you find ways to, and you don't specifically like value it more than yourself, type of thing, then maybe you can change your mindset on you have the money, but yet you look for like fulfillment and content and stuff like that. But you have it.
I just don't think that material things, like money is a material thing.
Yeah.
Those don't bring happiness.
I don't think
they
so.
don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
They don't bring happiness.
It's very short.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just like you're working yourself to sadness and unhappiness in the end, because you're gonna get them and say unhappy about your situation. And I feel like the things that don't last long, like like friendships and stuff like that, those are the things that bring lasting happiness, and friendship and relationships, community. Those are the things that bring lasting happiness to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So is happiness worth the effort?
Yes.
And as long as we're talking about like the long-term one, instead of like the obsessive one, this obsessive pursuit of like the hit.
Yeah.
That's not worth the effort.
Yeah.
No.
Long-term happiness is worth the effort.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. But how do you switch your mind from not mistaking those little moments as your happiness, or as your long-term happiness?
Train yourself to train your brain to recognize it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of people just assume that those moments of few moments, that's what they have to do for the rest of their lives. Then they'll be happy. What if you're like that lady you're talking about in the hospital, that you're not able to chase that stuff?
Yeah. Exactly.
What do you do? Or some sickness get you and you're bedridden. Now you don't have a chance to like even chase those things.
Yeah.
But I think if you invested in friendship and relationships, those people will still come to see you and spend time with you, and that will create happiness for you. That's
it's a good thing she had family around that kind of understood her.
Yeah.
Because wow, I don't know if I could be in that type of situation by myself.
Yeah, it's scary, man. That's awesome. That's really cool. So, in general, what we concluded is like happiness are not those stimulus, like stimuli. That's what they call it. Those stimulus, those moments of stimulations. Those are not happiness.
It's not long term.
Yeah, I think happiness is just those moments you create for yourself, and you have to recognize them.
Yeah.
That is my happy moments, and just live with it. And for me, the way I look at it is 50-50. If you want to just create that balance, then yeah. If you want to tip a little bit of the negative, so I'm a little higher and like maybe 30% negative, I think I'll live there instead of being on a 50-50 balance.
Well, when you start to feel all those negative thoughts, right? Or think those negative thoughts, it's when you got to stop, be present, look around, and be like, if I'm just going to be thankful for this chair right now because I need to be thankful for something.
There's people sitting on the ground somewhere. Thank you, Jesus, for this chair.
Yeah.
But just start with something.
Yeah. And we just we need to recognize that our brain is not concerned about our happiness. It's just concerned that I'm alive. You're alive. You're
breathing,
sick.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
It doesn't care about you being alive, happy.
And you can train it, and you can train your brain to think certain ways and to change your attitude and change your mindset about things that are going on around you. And that will create that long-lasting happiness instead of just chasing after little things.
Yeah.
Gratitudes,
That's right. So thank you guys for listening to Watu, and please, this is a really huge topic. We can talk about this forever. But we would like to hear what you think and what is your definition of happiness? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just drop us a message online or
let's have a conversation.
Let's talk about this on Instagram, Facebook.
Money can buy happiness, so let us know.
If you're one of those that think if you make a lot of money, then you'll be happy.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Can you tell us why?
Mm-hmm.
So we know at least that maybe we're missing something, right? We're missing something. Mm-hmm. But let's be happy though. Let's try to be happy. Try to be happy every day and be content with what you have and what life has given you so far.
Exactly.
That's another that's another level of maturity, I guess, in life, of where you can get to. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much. Subscribe, listen, share with your friends. Let us know what you think happiness is. Yeah. And we will catch you next week. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. You've been listening to Watu podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening to our show. Don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification button so you get notified when you upload a new episode. You can also listen to all our episodes at mtuniwatu.com or your favorite podcast app. Follow us also on Facebook and Instagram. And thank you very much.
Drinking and driving is a decision that could change your whole world. Things will never be the same if you ever get a DUI. Because legal fees and time in court are just the beginning. Getting into a crash is another way that your world can be turned upside down. Your vehicle may not be the only thing that gets damaged in that crash. You can face a life-altering injury or even death. But you're not the only one that can face those consequences. Your decision to drink and drive can permanently impact not just your world, but someone else's world as well. Whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. The next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver. The only decision that will change your world for the better is the decision to call for a sober ride. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.